All right, page, once again, I involve reading the top. It says, V'hidish zem. So the renewal that we're talking about, either the renewal or the replacement of the garment that covers the neshama, Nasa Yedech Shem Kale. It's the name Kale. It does this. Hamis Ora B'Biker, which is aroused in the morning, Beso the Chesed. Kamosha Koset, like it's written like this. Chesed Kale Kol Hayom, that the Chesed and Kale, all day long, it shines all day. Uvesod V'Yashkem Amvach B'Biker, Hashem's Lashon is Lashon Chesed. Uvesod V'Masha B'Arnach B'Masha Tiknoch B'Birchus Yotzer Or, also what we already said about the bracha of Yotzer Or. HaMechadish B'Tubo, and then it goes along that he renews in his goodness. B'Kol Yom Tamid Ma'aseh Bereshis, the creation itself. So he says, Ayin Sham, so look over there. So he says, Tikavein Ba'omro Malbish Harumim, when you have that kavana over there that you're going to clothe the naked, al malvush anizkor, and it has to do with the garment that covers over the neshama, as we said before. Akol nimshach m'shem Kale, all of it comes from this one name, the name Kale. V'huki shnei shemos Kale b'Milui, and let's take them when we get there. Name the Milui of Kale is 185. All in Gematria of Molbush, and they come 185 and 185 becomes 370. Vim Shmona Osios Kale, and then there's 8 letters that are in the Kale, which is Aleph Lamed Fe Lamed Mem Daled. What is how many letters? Shmona, because Kale, and then he has Kale plus the Milui. Hare Shin Ayin Ches, that makes Shin Ayin Ches Gematria, which is the same Gematria as Molbush. So therefore, if we take the Kale and in its Milui form, we have the word of a covering. So we already know that he comes with his garment on him. He says he levusha neshama, because here we're talking about the levush of the neshama, mishem aloka. So it comes from that name. Is this the name that he pronounced aqua? I get mixed because I don't see it too much. So anyway, it's come from this name. Shepirusho ku Kale Vav K. It's the Kale going to Vav K. Malvush nimshach b'shem Kale. And where does it ultimately end up? Levav K. It goes into the Vav K. So the concept is bringing into this world the Zachar Nanuk, Shehem Zun Hanikra Vav K, who another word for Zun is also Vav K. Now we've explained the bracha, which is Malvish Arumim. This is for a person whose behavior during the day is so much that his neshama lost its levush. But in the morning, Chesed Kale Kol Hayom, he says, so now it's been renewed completely. So the other part, which is Shenechlash Malvusho, that is the garment that covers his neshama, is weakened. Akalo nipshat legamri, it doesn't completely and totally leave the person. Tiknol birchos and nos in the yoev koach, this is a person who has been weakened. That neshama has been weakened, and so we're going to renew that strength. V'chadavar mavur, and then that is all explained. So he says on Shin Mem Gimel on page Ayin Vav, we'll go over there, we'll look at that. So he said, "V'chidush zen naasa yedecha b'shem Kale, shnei chidushim alalu habayim yedecha b'malchus that come through malchus. Behind the scenes, the vush chadash, either bringing a completely new levush, chadash, v'his chanshus halavush hanechlosh, and also the renewal of the levush which had become weakened. Zen naasa yedei shem Kale. So zeh Hashem Kale." So this name, he says, that in every morning it becomes aroused. So in other words, right now, where it's early in the morning, we have the concept of Kale being presented. Kishem Kale hu shem chesed, it's the name of chesed. So these two things, either clothing or strengthening, are done through the name Kale, shem chesed, which is the name of chesed. v'koach chesed ma'Hashem Yisbarach, and for the chesed that comes from Hashem Yisbarach, nesakning levush ha'neshama u'mischadshim. So then there's a renewal, and it creates also. So the reason why is because the name of chesed, hanikra Kale, misora b'kol boker, it's aroused every morning. He says, Avraham, which represents chesed, he said, misora b'kol boker is aroused every morning. He said, going on, the teva is malvush, so if you take the word malvush, and you add up the gematria, hu gematria kecheshben shnei tevos or paniel. Now this is interesting, or should I pronounce it panikel? So he says they are begematria in the same gematria of two words, which is or and the face of Kale. So panikel is really the face of kindness. So he says Hashem or panikel, Merames al Shem Kale is really a reference to the name Kale altogether. How is that? So he says Shem Kale Merames al Shin Ayin Ches Naharim. The 378 lights and Nimsaim between Tefuchim, the Eric Anpin, which was found in the two cheeks of Eric Anpin that shine out like crazy. He says the word Malbus, hu begematria Chashmal, is the gematria of Chashmal. What's Chashmal? He says a Malbush and a Chashmal is the same thing. So the Chashmal, hu halavush halabina hanikra imas, is the covering that comes from Ima. So apparently, although my understanding is that Ima is really goes inside of Zachar Benok, it goes inside of Zun. Here it says it's an aspect that actually covers them. This is called the Chashmal. Ima hiya malveshes as Zun belevush hachashmal hazeh. So she covers them with this outside layer. So therefore, when you say the phrase malvush anim dekabim el malvush aniskar, that you have that in mind, the hainachain al haaras panim shal erik anpen sharich. It has to do with the shining of the face of Arich. V'heim al bush hanimshach bebina. So this is talking about the same thing. We're talking about this levush, which also comes over from bina. Hanimshach bebina, the halbish as zun misham ola halbish as nishmasenu, and covers over our. That's what's happening now. So the levushim themselves come down from up above in the name Kale. Okay, you're going right now. Okay. Whoa, that was quick. Okay, that was it for that shear. So we'll get back to it next time.